Hey, welcome to Dreams in Action. I'm your host, C. Orson Brown, and I want to give a high five, a fist bump, a shout out to all those who are tuned into this motivational channel. And I want you to subscribe, I want you to like, I want you to go ahead and share as we continue to build content to impact people's lives and to make a difference. Hey, tonight I got my team here. This is my last Tuesday here in Texas before I ship on out to the next place where I need to go. But tonight's show, we want to start this subject. We want to open up with this topic: mind your own business. Mind your own business. Specifically, minding your business to find what your purpose is. And whatever your purpose is, how do you continue to mind your business? How do you continue to do the thing that you have been chosen, you have been created, you have been made to do that thing, which is your purpose? I was listening to some great musicians, from Jay-Z to Michael to Prince, just great James Brown, so many great artists, individuals who are math, science individuals. I mean, a lot of people who have done some great things. And the reason why they became great, because they mind their own business. They were able to spend time in their own craft, in their own purpose, and as a result, they became great musicologists, scientists, doctors, lawyers. They became amazing because they minded their own business. They minded their purpose. Malcolm Gladwell, he's a great writer. He worked for Wall Street Journal, but he also has written many different books. And he talks about this concept about the 10,000 hour rule, that whatever you do for a long period of time, you're going to become great at it. So I want to open up the floor tonight around with my round team, with my brothers, about finding your purpose. How would you define purpose? How would you define purpose? I mean, we talk about this purpose thing. There was even a great book written, The Purpose-Driven Life. All right, so how would you define purpose? What does purpose look like to you?
To me, purpose is, I don't even know. I don't want to say layman. I don't put a layman term. I want to say what it means to me.
Yeah.
Purpose to me means something that brings meaning to your life. Purpose to me means bringing something that makes you feel as who you are.
Yeah.
Like you doing what you're supposed to be doing in life. An example, like I know when I first was growing up, I wanted to be an architect. Mm-hmm. And then I went to school, got my degree in architecture, and then realized I don't work well with people.
So that ain't your purpose.
Yeah,
right?
so, I'm like, okay, yeah.
So we're talking about living in your purpose and finding that purpose.
Then I realized, as when I went in the military and everything, what my purpose was.
Yeah.
And like I said, sometimes once we define what our purpose is, sometimes once we define it or realize what it is, then we can move on. But sometimes it just has to come to us.
Yeah, and you said something key too, man. You started in architecture and then realized that wasn't what you enjoyed. You didn't like the people like that. And so, do you think sometimes, and I want you all to dive into in terms of defining purpose, how do you see purpose? And sometimes, I mean, you everyone born with, we get the same oxygen, we get the same number of days, to live, the hours, 24 hours in a day. And sometimes finding your purpose is sometimes making mistakes, being able to fail forward, being able to start something and stop and do something different. But being able to find something, I would define purpose as finding that thing that light you up, and finding that thing, man, that just, you look forward to doing. And I don't always feel like it, but I realize what I have been created to do, and that's trying to find ways to impact people. I love this, man. This is not work for me. Talking to people, listening to people, man, this ain't work. This is like play for me. And man, I enjoy it. And so for me to spend more time, how can I develop my craft of just being able to try to connect with people and meet people where they are? How can I create more opportunities to do more of that? to do more of that. In the counseling world, we have this solution-focused concept of if something is working and you enjoy it, how can you do more of it? How can you do more of that? So how would you define purpose?
I mean, my view as far as defining purpose, it's what gets you out of bed.
Yeah.
Right? When you get out of bed and you have that feeling that either it's to put on your military boots, or to put on your basketball uniform or that suit, to go tackle your daily duties. Right? And only that is defining it. Also, you define yourself who you are.
Yeah, that's good.
Right? And defining yourself who you are and fulfilling yourself.
That purpose.
You fulfill yourself. You bring joy out of it.
Yeah.
So, and to others, it might be just getting out of bed and living that retirement life.
Yeah.
Turning on that TV, hearing Fox News, CBS, whatever it is. Soaking up that news and then talking around the neighborhood.
Yeah. You think?
I believe when it comes to purpose is an ever-evolving concept of your life.
Okay.
At different stages of your life, like when you want to be an architect, that was your purpose then.
Right.
Yeah.
Then as you got older and went through, like, I don't really like it. Your purpose will always evolve with you. As long as you grow, your purpose is bound to change.
Do you think the purpose changed, or do you think you just matured and realized that was not necessarily your purpose? I mean, what you think?
Well, I was going to say something very similar to what he said. Life is a journey, so we're just always going to find this, we're going to find that, because like soul, like for me, I thought my purpose was to be an NBA player.
Gotcha.
That was my passion.
You realize you can shoot.
Right. Realize I'm not that good. Right.
My bad. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, continue. I'm sorry, bro. You can't shoot.
Okay. For the sake of the video, I'm going to be nice.
So how did you transition from that desire that you thought that was your purpose, that was your dream, aspiration?
Well,
so what did you transition
life
to?
happened, and as we discussed before about this early marriage situation,
Yeah.
I got placed in a situation where I had to be something else now. I had to be a man at a very early age.
I got you.
Pretty much on my own, right?
Yeah.
So my purpose changed. I had to learn to be a husband and a father.
I got you.
And I had to learn how to be a man. So as we journey through life, things happen.
Yeah.
And our purpose, it changes.
Do you think though, I was reading, I wanted to say, two people that I was looking at in the sacred scriptures text. Number one was Adam. I mean, I think all of the stories talk about Adam being the first man creation. But I said one time before that Adam became the first simp. That this guy, Adam, he had power, he had potential, he had prestige, he had position. He named the animals, all of it. I mean,
He had no clothes.
Yeah, right. He had no clothes. So what you saying? We all be naked? No, right. But here's the thing, though, right? That he had purpose. He had a purpose, and so somehow he chose to get off his purpose and became distracted. We hear the story about how Eve, they ate the apple, and as a result, they was kicked out of the garden. So how do you think? I mean, finding your purpose and doing something that that lights you up, somehow you become distracted or deterred from that purpose and get you out. And there's another guy, man. Let me rock this over here too, y'all. I gotta jump in, man. Welcome back too, man. You gotta jump in. You can't be sitting there, man. You gotta get in this ring. Get in this ring, man. And the other guy, though, was one of the strongest people in the Bible. Y'all heard the story. That the guy named Samson, who had the long hair and all of that stuff, who got off of his purpose, and as a result, got his eyes plucked out, lost his whole purpose, lost his whole identity, lost who he was because he got distracted. Now, you started out where we do certain things, we do different things, and we come to realization as we get older, things may change. But how do you find that one thing, perhaps, that you become extremely well at and that you put in the 10,000 hours? Because here's the thing, if we keep always moving and starting and doing something, how do we become great at what we do?
Okay, I'm going to answer that real quick. To go back to Adam and Samson, to me, I think the difference is because they was given a purpose. A lot of times we're given, Like I said, when I wanted to become an architect, it was because my grandfather wanted to become one, and he never did. At the time, black men couldn't do that kind of thing. So my thought was, okay, well, I'm gonna live that legacy for him.
Got you.
So that to me, that purpose was given to me. It wasn't what I wanted. And then when I realized that's what I wanted or wanted to be, then my purpose or my ideas changed. Now, to go back to what you were saying, well, how do we keep that going? Or when it changes, we can still stay in the same realm. Like I found my purpose as graphic design.
Gotcha.
I love graphic design and cooking, but I stayed in that same realm of architecture because I loved it. I loved architecture, but I didn't love the people part of it. So I decided graphic design is just the same realm, and my purpose now, 25 years later, I'm there.
And there it is, though, right? It's you continue to do it, and the graphic arts too is a form of designing,
right? And
you do a remarkable job too, man. This is so. He has an incredible magazine, amazing magazine too, and he does poetry, slam poetry. But he took that artistic creativity and not necessarily architecture, but you're still doing architecture in terms of designing graphs, and so you stay with it. So, but I want to encourage people to fail forward, to make mistakes, to get out, to do things, try different things that you can find. That's the first point I want to talk about. Try many different things. Fail forward. Be willing to try something, right? We got a young man here with us tonight. He's working the camera for me. He know how to find purpose. He's a problem solver. But to be able to fail forward, to be able to do something and to get out and try it. And as you continue to do those things, you begin to discover what is it that you enjoy most, and then you can begin to spend most of your time, many of your time, hours doing that.
You said the key word there, though.
Yeah.
You have to continue evolving, putting yourself out there.
Got it. Yeah.
Right? You just don't wake up and be like, oh,
no,
I want to be architect.
Yeah.
Right.
You just don't wake up and say, I'm going to join the army. There's reasons behind that that leads you, builds up to that.
Right.
It's not something that, like you said, you work your way to. It evolves around your environment too. That's just me.
Then do you change then? But when you say it evolves or change, is your purpose or just finding creative ways to do that same purpose differently?
I just think your purpose, finding your purpose has to do a lot with the environment as well. And I say that because of how I grew up. Right? I grew up, like I said, my mom and dad was never married. Right? So I had the opportunity to join the military. And not only that, but look back where I was at, what I didn't have, and also try to make a difference.
I got you.
So how can I make a difference? So once I started seeing the value in me as a man, and how the younger generation started looking up to me, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I could do this.
I got you.
Maybe I could actually shed a light and let them know that I got out of this environment, they could do that too as well.
Okay.
So how can I get back?
So what is your purpose then?
So
if you had to be on the elevator for 30 seconds and you had to explain to somebody what is your purpose. And I want to pause and say a commercial break for those who are listening. Listen, we at the Cigar Lounge. This is owned by Jake, the retired veteran. But we also got the football game happening. So if you hear the football game, we're in here trying to make it do what it do. All right. So how do you find that purpose? What would you say is your purpose that you can keep doing that regardless of the environment?
I'm glad that you asked that.
Yeah.
Because I struggle with that.
Yeah.
I struggle with that every day.
Yeah.
I ask myself, why am I
pitch.
here? Why am I here? What's my purpose?
Yeah.
So to me, my purpose changes.
Got it.
From time to time.
Okay.
It might be, hey, look, if I'm at work and I see this individual struggling, it's my purpose, it's my job, my duty to sit down with that individual and talk them through that.
Right.
It goes back to my household with my girls. What's my purpose in my household?
Right.
To be that father figure. To be there and provide for them and let them know how a woman should be treated.
Gotcha.
So to me, that's just my opinion. My purpose changes from time to time in the situation that I'm in.
Yeah, you mentioned something. You mentioned something good though. As he said, you're struggling finding your purpose, and literally finding it. And I think again when I think about Jordan, when I think about great architects, when I think about individuals who have reached that place of greatness, that they literally found it and then they stayed with it to put in the time, put in the hours to be able to cultivate that thing, that one thing, to become exceptionally well at it. Right? Right?
But
You know?
but you have to love. My grandfather always says, if you find something that you love, you'll
Yeah.
never work a day in your life.
Got it.
But that's the difference. We have to find something that we love doing. It ain't just putting in the hours. Because I know people that work. Hell, I know people that work their whole life doing something because they had to.
Right. Sure.
It wasn't that they put in the hour and they experts at it, but they
Sure.
they start off because they had to do it.
I got you.
And that's why I always say sometimes
Yeah.
we have to know the difference between whether our purpose is, because sometimes it finds us.
Sure.
Sometimes
Yeah.
that purpose will find you.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah.
might be something else. What's the football player? Oh, I can't think of his name right now. He played football for a lot of years. Then he decided to leave and became a doctor. Now he's a surgeon.
Yeah.
He played football, and one day he just said, you know what?
Yeah, absolutely.
And he became a surgeon. It was like, okay, so sometimes you can be in the middle of what you think your purpose is,
Yeah.
and your real purpose say, hey,
Here it is.
okay, yeah, this is what you need to be doing.
And sometimes we get lost trying to find it, that we are actually doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people are telling you, right, man, you could be a great coach,
Yeah.
but you out there coaching, but that's not you,
That's not you. Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
that in reality, that's probably what you are.
How do we listen? So when we have moments like that, then do we avail ourselves to people who may see things which you're already doing and say, hey, let me encourage you to do more of that?
Well, I say sometimes when you hear that, if you hear it more than once, twice, 3 times,
Yeah.
that's when you gotta start humbling yourself.
Got it.
And understand, man, I'm actually doing this.
Yeah.
This, you gotta accept it.
Right.
Yeah.
This is me now.
I got
Okay,
you.
let me see how I can expand on that.
I got you.
Let me see how I can make this better.
Yeah.
Right? And let me see how I can reach out and touch others
Yeah.
to make this worth what it's worth.
How much effort are you willing to put in that thing?
Huh. That's a good question.
I heard,
That's the question.
no, hear this. I heard, man, listen, because I heard Tony Robbins or many people said something like this. One young man, he went to a master guru, and he went to the master guru, and he said, Master Guru, I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do this. I want to become great. And so the master guru took him out to the water, and he said, great, my young man. And he stuck his head down in the water and held him down in the water. And he pulled him up and said, what does he want to do? Master Guru, I want to be able to. He stuck his head back down there again. And then finally, he pulled the young man up. He says, young man, what do you want? He was like, air. I want to breathe. And so the message is that, do you want that thing like you want air? Are you willing to put in the time, the sacrifice to get you to 10,000 hours? Because literally, again, many of us, we have the same 24 hours in the day. We have the same time. Hopefully we live the 70 plus years. But in those years that we have, how do we find that thing, whether we're experimenting, we're willing to fail, we're willing to get back up, we're willing to step out and put in the effort, the time that it takes to be able to get to that place that you become the subject matter expert. And do you think people give up?
I like what you said
Yeah.
about willing to fail.
Yeah.
Failure is one of the best
Right.
teachers.
I think so.
Failure and pain. And they're the best teachers in the world.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Now, but when it comes to failure, you have to be willing, like you said, get
Get
back.
back up. Yes.
You got to fail at times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Failure is not.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily. It's not a bad thing. You have to fail.
You miss out on some of the opportunities of the shots that you don't take.
Yeah.
And then you get that pain. You inflict pain, you gotta change.
Yep.
Pain
Yeah.
makes you change. Who
It
wants to
can.
sit
How many
there?
times as a kid? How many times you touched that hot stove?
Hot stove.
How many times you touched it?
You learn how to touch
It
it.
hurt.
Yeah.
Ain't touching no more.
Yeah.
But I'm saying with failure,
Yeah.
you learn. As far as me, I learn from people older than me, learn from my elders and everything. I go do something, I fail. And they're like, hey, young man, this is what happened, this is why you fell, blah, blah. You did good, but this is where you messed up at.
Yeah.
And that's where that teaching point come in.
Gotcha.
Knowing that you failed, understand why you failed. and having somebody or realizing yourself what you actually failed at to make you stand you back up
I got
to
you.
move on.
But one thing about failing,
you gotta jump in this thing.
one thing about failing is knowing, like you said, knowing why you failed, but you have to also be willing to block out all the criticism from other people. Because
That's a
you
good
failed.
point. Yeah,
And a lot of people are afraid to fail because of the criticisms that comes from other people.
That's a great point.
And knowing
So
how to
that's
block
where
it
it comes minding your business.
and knowing how to block that out. Yeah, there you go. Mind your own business. Knowing how to
Yeah.
block that out too. You know, you like I said, it's got to be something within that you want to do.
Right.
'Cause you can't be all up in a corner, curled up, crying and boo-hooing and all that. It's good to feel sorry for yourself. You got to tell. It's okay not to be okay
But I think,
for a while.
Yeah.
Get out of that and move on.
but all of that, everything you guys just said, the one, to me, in my opinion, the whole key about everything, when you look at Adam, when you look at Samson, when you look at what is Mike, Kobe, what you want to find, I think, to not only find your purpose and once you find it to stay on track, is balance. If you ask me, when it came to Adam, the thing he was missing was human contact, having that person with him. You know, it was God that was above him. He was above the animal, so to speak. Samson, you know, was stronger than all men, and he wanted that woman by his side.
Yeah, but he
you know,
did, because you said that, but he did. And so it was good, not good for him to be alone. And then, but the point of it is that he had that, but he got distracted. He
Right.
got deterred.
But that's where
Yeah.
the balance though comes in.
Right.
I mean, you along with that, you have to find a person that's on your level as well that's going to help you maintain. I mean, when you look at an athlete, you know, tennis for example,
Right.
you know, when we see the great ones, is that their singular focus is everything is about tennis. And then just
Right.
as soon as you hear a person say, "Oh, well, they met somebody, they got
Right.
married," now you hear about them being distracted from it.
Yeah, but that's the
and-
distraction. Then.
But
It
so,
goes
but,
back.
but those who can keep going, you know, Serena Williams
Right,
and
right.
all those,
Yeah.
So
as
can
they
we-
be able to balance, you know, work and family. And,
Yeah.
and
So
all
can we
that.
say that we need distraction to actually fulfill our purpose?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
I
wouldn't
wouldn't call it a distraction.
I do call it. I mean,
It's a scale. Like we said about the
What
balance.
the balance,
That distraction. It's my balance your
It's the
skill.
balance.
But I'm like this. You have to have everything. Distraction, fails, everything, because if it's something you want, then you build a foundation around it. My thing is you can put everything on top of that foundation. It may fall. As long as that foundation is there, you know how to get back or build that back up. And that's my thing. Like you said, balance, like you said, distraction, failing. And that's we have to, sometimes our purpose it might be the same purpose, but it ain't finna come the first time.
Sure.
You gotta understand, when you fail that first time, that don't mean that that's not your purpose. That
Absolutely.
means that, okay, we get up, and now we figure out what went wrong, and we go back and we build it stronger.
Yeah.
That house that you built on that foundation might not have been strong because you didn't put some trust in. You didn't put the work into the being that you're supposed to. Everything about building that house everything has to play a part in that house for you to make it work.